Warning. Warning. UFO detected.
Thanks for joining my Let's Play. Basically what we have going on here is I'm going to do a Let's Play for XCOM UFO Defense, the original 1994, 1993, somewhere around there time frame. XCOM UFO Defense. There is a new XCOM game coming out this year, and I don't think there's any Let's Plays for this original XCOM game, so I'm going to go in and play that. Now, the reason for the little screen here is I couldn't record it on full screen, and I was trying to record the screen by itself, and that wasn't working, so I'm just going to record my desktop with that out front, so I'm not going to get much better image size than what you're seeing right here. Another thing is I'm going to be trying to beat this game as quickly as possible. So where usually people play Let's Plays and, you know, they play them extremely seriously, and, you know, if you die, they end it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play it basically in a way where I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible and use everything in the game to my own advantage. If anybody's ever seen this game before, they probably already know that this game is extremely unforgiving. You can land at a UFO crash site, and before your guys even get out of the shuttle, you can have a missile flying in your landing craft and just blow everybody up before you even get out. So it's very, I guess, a realistic and unforgiving game. So with that in mind, I'm going to use every advantage I can to try to beat this as quickly as possible, because I would like to beat the game. So it's going to go ahead and launch. Like I said, I'm going to use everything to my advantage. I'm just going to play it on beginner in the heart of the United States. Now, the United States in this game, they back your country up with a lot of money, so I'm going to try to keep them safe, and I'm going to try to put it in as central a location as I can. So I'm going to try to put it right there. Let's name it USA, since that's the country that it's in. And there we go. For you guys who never played the game before, basically what you're seeing is a view of the whole Earth from outer space. And you can see this is the daylight side of Earth currently, and that's the night side of Earth. That is realistic in the fact that if you land somewhere and you're in the shadow of the Earth, then it's going to be night, and if you're on the side the sun's facing, it's going to be day, and it's going to affect your visibility and everything else. You in this game can select. You can see it's going at, this little ticker is going at 5-second intervals. If I click minute, it starts clicking at 1 minute intervals. So before we get too deep in the game, I want to go ahead and start adjusting my base. We'll go through a couple of these tabs here, I guess, since we're just okay. Basically, because of the nature of this program being so old, I've had some issues in my last recording, and you can see that I went and actually recorded it at full screen, where it just recorded the smaller sized window here. But the problem was, when I was recording just the window, it didn't actually get the animation inside the window, and when I pressed buttons and things, it would cut out parts of the video. So I'm just doing a quick recap. I just pressed English, and I started a new game. I selected beginner, and basically I did that because I'm trying to beat the game as quick as possible, and the game is already tough enough, and I'm just looking to basically give you an overview of the game and show it to you. I'm not looking to have it take me a long time to get done. And so all I did also is, another part that was skipped, is I built my first base and I popped it right in about the central United States. I explained that, and I named it USA. So I named the USA base USA just so it makes sense, and I put it in the central United States because the United States starts out by funding you with over $1 million, and so I wanted to protect that funding there. And probably my next base will be somewhere over in Europe to protect the funding over there. But that's basically the parts that you missed, and I think the video starts up when we're talking about interceptors. That's where the clip cuts out at. Basically, these are your ships that you can use to either intercept UFOs. These are like fighter jets, and that's like a landing craft. And so you can see, you start out with one landing craft and two fighter jets. But I'm sure we'll talk about it later. But I just wanted to kind of recap that because it got kind of cut up in that last video. So what we're going to do, landing craft, these two interceptors are almost like jet fighters used to shoot down UFOs. So you try to shoot them down, land at the site, and gather everything you can from the crash site. Sometimes they'll just land on their own, and you can actually, take your landing craft there and go to the place where they're already at without shooting them down. You can also find bases and such, which you'll have to also go and land your craft at. So that's what that screen's for. You would just choose what vehicle you want to intercept the UFO, and then lock it onto that UFO, and it would do it by itself. And you're going to see that pretty soon. Bases. Here is an overview of our base. Basically, this is the base you get to start with, and we're starting out with about $4 million to spend. We have 3 hangars. Those are our little fighter jet craft right there. Used to shoot down UFOs. This is our landing craft where we take all of our personnel to the crash site. This is just an access lift where they bring in and out materials to the base. Living quarters. This is where all the people at the base live. Small radar. This is just a radar system, allows us to see UFOs and such in the area. General stores. This is something that's needed because we're going to every single thing that we put in the base has to be stored in there, whether it's guns, UFO components, everything that we need, it's in the base, gets stored in there, so it's a very important part. We have a laboratory. That's where our scientists do our research on various things that we want to research, and you'll see that it's a very big, important part of the game, and one of the reasons I think the game is very cool. And then we have the laboratory over here, and that's where our engineers can build things for us. And so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to build some more facilities that are going to be important here. You can have aliens attack your base too, and they will come in and you'll have to defend your base. So sometimes placement of these things is kind of important, but not super important. First thing we need is an alien containment. What's going to happen is when we go to alien crash sites, we're going to try to capture aliens alive so that we can do more research on them and interrogate them and so on and so forth. So very important thing with that is we have to actually keep them alive. If we don't have an alien containment area, they will die. So that's something I'm going to put in here right away. And 18 that's on there is telling me it's going to be 18 days before that particular area is ready. So if we capture any aliens in the first 18 days, they will be dead. They won't bring them back to the base, they won't die, and then we'll just have to do autopsies on their bodies. General stores, this is very important. I'm going to pop another one in here. It's going to take 10 days to build that. A large radar system, also vitally important, because that's going to allow us to have a larger area in which we can find UFOs in, which is going to be critical. If you don't shoot down UFOs, and UFOs are going into countries and causing havoc and panic and chaos, basically those countries will be upset. This is like an international group to defend the Earth, and if you don't defend those countries, they will start dropping funding. So that's that. So we got I think we're going to be good on living quarters for a little while, although I am going to try to buy some scientists. You can see we've already spent like $2 million, or, you know, well, at least $1 million, so. Let's see, what else do we want to get? I think I also want to maybe pick up some missile defenses. If there is a UFO and they try to attack our base, these missiles will try to shoot the UFO down before they get to our base. So it's basically a base defense. So I think we're gonna go. I think we're good in the living quarters, laboratory. Keep that where it's at. Workshop. Keep that where it's at. I'm happy with where we're at right now. We'll go through these other tabs here as well. You can build a new base somewhere else in the world. You can have up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 8 bases up here. This is my USA base, and basically I have multiple bases. You can click to them and manage each base. Each base has its own inventory, so you have to manage their inventory, their own personnel, you have to manage their personnel. All those things have to be managed. Base information. This is just an overview of the base we're at. You can see I've got 8 soldiers, 10 engineers, 10 scientists. Living quarters, we have 50, so we're using up 28 of our 50 living quarters. We're already using up 36 of our 50 stores. Laboratories, we're using 0 space, and here are our labs or our workshops currently. Hangars, we have all 3 hangars filled. Defense strength, because we don't have that missile defense up yet, we have no defense strength here in terms of warding off UFO when it would attack our base. They would basically infiltrate the base and we would have to take them down man to man. Short range detection, that is the small range radar, and then when we get the long range detection, you'll see that going up as well. You can transfer things from one base to another. These are the details of everything that we have in our stores, which we'll be paying very high attention to that in a little bit, but not currently. Monthly costs, for example, well, we can see that our income at the beginning of the year was $6 million, and we have current costs for soldiers, engineers, all their salaries, different kinds of equipment upkeep. It's costing a little over $2.5 million a month. And you can see the fighter jets and such are a big expense month to month. So let's go ahead and look at our soldiers. These are our 8 initial soldiers. We will be getting more soldiers because we want to have the best soldiers we can on the mission. So what I'm going to do is each one has random stats, and I want to get soldiers with better stats. So I'm going to be hiring more soldiers. We're going to be, at some point in here, very minutely detailing every single person's stats. Like, in some things you might not think are important in like other games are extremely important here. Like bravery, your guys can literally, while on the mission, panic, flip out, have their minds taken control of. There's 2 other stats you get to see later in the game. We can't see them right now because we don't have the technology to develop those, but like psychic powers and things like that. But like bravery, you can literally have guys panic and freak out and go running, and when they're running away they get shot by aliens and all kinds of stuff. So most of these stats are extremely important. I mean, maybe throwing accuracy, if you don't want them to be throwing grenades, wouldn't be that important, but every single thing else on here is pretty important. Let's just run down them real quick, even though we're not going to go through our soldiers in minute detail until we either need to go on a mission or we get our other soldiers in and we can kind of decide who we want to keep and who we want to you know, fire, so to speak. But time units is how much activity they can do in a turn. Think about how quick a person is. Stamina, going from turn to turn to turn. This is a turn-based game. Your stamina, if you work them really hard, turn after turn, they'll get tired and won't be able to regain all their time units. So stamina, they can have a lot of time units, but they don't have stamina. Well, then their time units aren't going to last. So health, how much damage you can take before you die, kind of important. Bravery, like I said, you can get freaked out if you don't have high bravery. If it's low, you get freaked out, you see somebody get shot, you freak out, you run, and then we lose use of that guy. So bravery is pretty important. Reactions, If all of a sudden an alien pops out from around a corner or something, will your guy have the ability to flip his gun over there real quick and blast him, or is he just going to stand there like an idiot? So that's what their actions are. The higher the better. Firing accuracy, huge in terms of importance. I mean, if it's not high, it doesn't matter if you can they'll be shooting all over the place and hit nothing. So firing accuracy, vitally important. Throwing accuracy, not so much, but that would reflect to if you're using a grenade or such in the room. If you're going to throw it and it's going to either go in the room or you're going to hit the door, it's going to bounce back at you. Kind of critical, but if you're not throwing grenades, not so much. And then strength, the stronger guys have the ability to carry heavier weapon loads. They can carry extremely heavy weapons like missile launchers and things of that nature, huge machine guns like Gatling guns and such. So basically, having a high strength means that that individual is probably going to be carrying a big weapon loadout in terms of heavy weapons, and that comes in handy for obvious reasons. So not everybody has to have a high strength, but you're going to want a couple people with high strength. That way they can round out the team with some heavy weapons and with some lighter weapon type of individuals. Equip craft. I'm not going to go into it real quick, but you can equip these, your jet fighters with different kinds of equipment to take down alien ships. You can also equip your landing craft with which crew you want in it and what kind of equipment you're taking on the mission with you. Not going to get into that real quick until we go in and reevaluate our inventory. Later on, you can get different kinds of body armor for your guys, and you can also bring those on. You can decide, who's wearing what kind of armor. Everybody has none, and there's nothing to select from. So that's that. Build facilities. We already showed you that when we built these different bases. You can see how many days they're going to take to come up. Research, vitally important. Now, we only got 10 scientists, but I will be getting more scientists. What do I want to research? I think that just to kind of give myself more of an advantage. Alright, you got these three things. Let me tell you what they are. Laser weapons, that's going to give us, obviously, laser weapons, and that's going to be more effective than bullets at shooting aliens. So, and some aliens can be pretty dang tough. They have like exoskeletons and stuff, so that's important. Motion scanner, what that allows you to do is like walk up to a room, use your motion scanner, and you can see what's going on with that room without exposing yourself, jumping in there. You can see if there's an alien or somebody in there, and before you go run in the room, where they're kind of at, how many there are, so on and so forth. So pretty important. And medikit, if you don't have that, basically if somebody gets shot, it gives you an ability, if they don't die immediately, to heal them and at least patch them up to a point where they will not die on the mission. And you can give people shots of adrenaline and such to wake them up. You can, repair their wounds, so on and so forth. Critically important. So all three of these things, starting out, are pretty critically important. But I think what I'm going to do of the three is I'm going to focus on laser weapons. I'd be saying why not focus on laser weapons, but see, because you all of a sudden, as soon as you start fighting aliens, you start capturing their weapons, and then you can basically reverse engineer their weapons, get extremely powerful weapons. So it's kind of, you can do lasers, which are going to be replaced by alien weapons very shortly, but in the short time, your guy's going to be a huge disadvantage in terms of shooting aliens. So it's a toss-up. Are you going to waste the time and you're going to get more powerful weapons later on researching these? But are you going to be at a disadvantage right now? There is a second advantage to laser weapons, is that laser weapons are not available on Earth, kind of. And so basically what you're able to do is create laser weapons and sell them at a profit. So I'm going to go laser weapons. Motion scanner and medikit, no, are very important. But I'm going to go laser weapons just to start it off, and I'm going to allocate all 10 of my scientists, and it tells you how much laboratory space you have available and so on. So you can do more than one thing, but I like to just focus all my scientists on one thing to get that thing done, and then go to the next, so on and so forth. So right now we are researching laser weapons, and we're having good progress. You can tell kind of how well they're doing. it gets better as you go along. So it gets, you know, poor, okay, good, or average, good, like awesome, and then you kind of finish it. So we're gonna get more scientists to put them on that project though, because we need. It's a very crucial part of the game, researching stuff so you can stay in the arms race with the aliens and keep up. Manufacture. We don't have any knowledge to create anything that we can't just buy. So like laser weapons or alien technology or things like this. So can't really produce anything yet, but soon that will come into account soon enough. Transfer allows you to transfer things from one base to another. Not worried about that right now. Purchase, recruit, and sell sack. Two screens are very similar. The one screen you're just buying additional items for the base. The other one you are selling items. So what are we gonna do here? You can see how expensive like scientists and stuff are. So we've already got 8 soldiers. I think we want to at least double that to 16. I want to get. Okay, you see their problem right here. So we're hitting against our wall of our living space. So I gotta decide how I want to balance that. Maybe I want to get more soldiers. Maybe I want to get 10 soldiers and 12 scientists. I don't know. I'll think about it. I think I might go that route for right now. Another thing about having a lot of soldiers is the highest ranks your soldiers are able to achieve is based on the number of soldiers you have. Like if you have, like, let's say 5 soldiers, you might be able to have a lieutenant, but if you have like 10 soldiers, you might be able to have a captain or something like that. So having more soldiers also means your guys can achieve higher ranks. We're all good on Sky. These are the intercept craft and the landing craft. We've already got. We're good. And remember, those have a high monthly cost, so I'm not adding any of that stuff on, at least not initially. These are more missile launchers for the interceptor craft and cannon, and these are missiles you can actually buy for those interceptor craft. Tank, we want a tank. I can tell you that right now. And we want a tank with a rocket launcher. There's a tank with a cannon, tank with a rocket launcher. Rocket launcher has a splash effect, area of effect. So we want that, and we want to have enough rockets. I believe you can take 8 to load it. So we want at least, see, here's the problem. We've already filled up our storage space, so you see how critical that is. So I'm just gonna go with that for right now, and I'm gonna try to clean up some of the stuff in our base, get rid of the junk that I don't want. You also see like electro flares. That's for in the dark. You can throw those and kind of make it's kind of like a light grenade, if you will. Makes a light certain area of light around it to illuminate areas, so you can see aliens and people and other things in dark areas. Stun rod obviously is used to stun an alien and take him alive. You have to hit him. It's like a baton that you can, or a club that you hit an alien with, and it knocks them out, stuns them, and you can take them alive. Problem is, you gotta be close enough to touch them. So, seeing as we don't even have a containment area, I'm not worried about that yet. So let's look to see what equipment we already have in here we can get rid of. We have an extra Stingray launcher, an avalanche launcher. We got an extra cannon, got 25 Stingray missiles, 10 avalanche missiles, got some of those cannon rounds. I'm not even really worried about pistols at this point, so I'm going to get rid of these things. So you can basically see I'm making money selling that stuff off. Problem is, we only got 2 rifles. That's kind of weak. So maybe we need those pistols to start out with. Reconsider that. We're gonna have probably 8 people going on a mission. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heavy cannon, 6 auto cannon, 7 rocket launcher. So there's really not enough weapons to kind of arm. Smoke grenades, I'm going to consider those useless right now. I'm not going to get rid of those. Actually, I'd like to have more grenades. heavy cannon. We got heavy cannon rounds, so we can sell some of this stuff off. We have armor piercing. Oh man, what's all we have is like these weak rounds. We're gonna have to go with what we have right now until this general storage opens up. Then we can start buying some better weapons, because I'm not liking how we have our guys equipped right now. We got this crappy weapons and crappy ammunition. We need that tank, rocket launcher tank. Another thing about the rocket launcher tank is you can just blow whole rooms up and blow whole buildings up, and the way I'm playing right now is I'm not looking to capture any alien prisoners. I'm just looking to blow up everything. So I want to use big explosive weapons to blow up as much stuff as possible. Everything explosive. So I think we're good with that right now. So that's our bases. Graphs. This allows us to. It's like it's just basically an overview where we can get information. So total UFO activity. There's nothing yet. UFO activity only countries, XCOM activity in areas, all this stuff's going to be 0 right now. We can analyze some of this stuff later. XCOM activity in countries, income, that's going to be up there. See, all of a sudden our budget started. There we are, starting January 1999, way in the past, but back when this thing came out, it was a couple of years in the future. So, finance, you can look at income, expenditures, maintenance, so on and so forth. Score is kind of each country you're kind of scored and see how you're doing. There's the graphs, UFOpedia. This basically gives detail of every single thing in the game, so you know what it is. Just, let's go back. That's the landing craft. There's some information there about it. If you want to see it, you can pause your screen. The interceptor craft, there's its information, same deal. Stingray missile. See, now when you're actually playing a game and you haven't played it before, you're going to be kind of scrutinizing all these things, how accurate they are, how much damage they do, reload time, all that stuff's going to be consideration. Range, vitally important. Can you shoot the UFO without it being able to shoot you back? Avalanche, you can see it's way better. Cannon. There's the tank with the cannon. That's the tank with the rocket launcher that we got. Another thing about the tank is it can take a lot of damage as armor and health, whereas your people just get blown away, especially at this point with no armor. Our people are highly vulnerable, so we want that tank to go on missions with, to take the brunt of the damage. Pistol. See damage is 26 there. It's junk, just to let you know. And accuracy is highly important. Pistols are less accurate, 78% accuracy. With it, an aimed shot, which takes up 30% of your time units, which is as much you can do on a turn, so it takes up about a third of your turn. That, 60% accuracy. Rifle, you can see, is 30. It's a little better. See, aimed, much better accuracy, but look at the time cost. But you're likely to hit. That's why rifles are way better. And let's talk about these 3 things. We'll talk about a mission again, but auto is like a machine gun type fire. It's full auto. Snap is a single shot that's not very aimed. It's just a quick bang, like quick single shot. And aimed is very, you know, you're sitting there trying to get spot on whatever your target is before you shoot it. Those are 3 things. What I want to do is I want to get the heavy cannon, I want to get rid of those armor piercing, I want heavy explosive rounds. That's what I want to do. You can see it causes a lot more damage too than even it's almost like 2 bullets. High explosive means you hit an area 2. Much better. You miss with the armor piercing round, I mean it does a lot of damage, but you hit the wall right next to the alien, nothing. This, you hit the wall next to the alien, he goes kaboom. So you don't have to worry about the accuracy. You just get it in the general vicinity and blow them up. That's why I like focusing on the explosives at the beginning. But I want to get that high explosive for the autocannon. Autocannon, I'd rather have, I mean, this is a Gatling gun. It's basically a machine gun. You saw it at the beginning of the game when we saw the intro. But it's a machine gun. I'd rather just have the cannon. It does more damage, and it's just a bigger boom for the buck. Rocket launcher, another weapon I really like. I'd like to get high explosive and just, like I said, blow up areas. Get some, or yeah, well, I don't know why they both say high explosive. This is like a lighter one, and this is a heavier one. Incendiaries, those always start fires, and I'm not really worried about fire. That makes smoke, which creates smoke inhalation, which can can cause your guys to pass out and things. I'm not really worried about fire. I just want big explosions. And look at the damage that thing does. It's a beast. That's a really good thing to start out with. Grenade, 50 damage to an area. I'd like to have my guys have that. Smoke grenade. Proximity grenade. Okay, I mean, you can throw it, and if anybody walks by it, it explodes. Like it says down here, it's triggered by nearby movement after it lands. Great skill and care is required. Use its devices properly. Problem is, if you throw it somewhere and there's no aliens to set it off, either you threw it in a place you thought there was an alien there, well, if you ever have to walk by that place, it means your guys are going to set it off. So you can actually close off portions of the map, so to speak, to your own people. So I'm not that hip to them, but they're okay. High explosive, useful. You could set that somewhere. If there's an alien in a building or something, you could actually set that right outside the building and let that bad boy explode. Does 110 damage, just blows buildings up and stuff. It's stun rod, I talked about earlier. Electro flare, talked about that earlier. These are just the parts of the base. The access lift tells you how much they cost to maintain, how long they take to construct. We already talked about all these. There we go. So that's all that in the game in the UFOpedia. You can tell, though, we're going to get different kind of stuff. Alien life forms, alien research, UFO components, UFOs, all those things we're going to eventually see later in the game. This is going to be kind of a, I don't know, some more boring video for some people, because I am kind of going through the detail of how the game works, but in the future games it'll be mostly battling and decision making. There's a lot of decision making in this game as to how you want to do, just like you saw with how I would approach the research and stuff. A lot of decision making. We're going to call this the I had another game that I was doing pretty good on, but I've only ended there in February, so not that far in that game. Let's start a new one here. We're going to call this Let's Play. So that's how I save the game. So I can save and load, and like I said, I'm going to cheat. If I get in a really bad situation where I get my butt kicked, I'll just reload the game, because I'm looking to beat the game in a minimal amount of time. I'm not looking to challenge myself. On funding, here's where you can see how all the countries are funding you. So you can see USA alone is kicking out $1 million. That's kind of why I like to start in USA, because I can protect. If I can protect the United States, I can protect that $1 million funding, and anybody else can protect. It can go up and down, but it's pretty huge. You can see USA is going to be huge. Brazil's kind of close. It's another $500,000. Canada down here, I don't think it. Yeah, it is. It's not very much money. Mexico, nope. But yeah, I'm just defending that. Russia's actually right over the pond in the other direction. And sometimes I start over in kind of like mid-Europe too. It just depends how you want to run it. But we're just going to go with it in the USA for right now. Not trying to get the game totally perfect. Maybe one of these other countries might be better to start in. But I think we're in good shape for right now. So here we go. I've got everything set up. There's nothing for me really to do at this point other than wait for something to happen here. Wait for my equipment to come in that I've ordered, or wait for a UFO sighting, or what have you. So I'm just gonna basically speed up time. You can see how fast 5 minutes of time's going. We're gonna go faster than that. We're actually go by, let's say, like an hour at a time. You can actually see the rotation of the Earth and basically the sunny side, dark side of the Earth spinning around. We got our rockets in that we ordered. Obviously we haven't got the tank yet, so that's kind of useless at this point, so we'll just keep going. Research completed. Very important. Okay, so now we can research. We now have laser technology. Now we can apply that and actually have laser weapons, laser pistols. So what I'm going to do is start a new project, research the laser pistol, and put all my scientists on that project. You can see right now the progress is unknown at this point, because it's going to be a little while. So, alright, we have our new soldiers, and we have our 12 scientists. So what I'm going to do is say, let's go back to 5-second time, we're going to go back to bases, we're going to go back to our research, and we're going to stick all of our new scientists, our 12 new scientists, on the laser pistol technology. And you can see I just went from average to good. So hopefully we'll have laser pistol soon. Once we start having that technology, then we actually have to have our engineers start to build those. So we're still not out of the woods. But now we're going to hit a very important part, kind of time-consuming part. But we're going to go through, and we're going. You can see the guys in blue. Those guys are on the Sky Ranger craft. That's why they're blue. These guys are purple. They're not on the Sky Ranger craft. But you can see, we got 10 new people. We're going to figure out who are our best 8 guys, because I believe we have 12 people max we could take in our landing craft, but we're going to be taking a tank with us, which is going to take up 4 spots. The tank takes up as much room as 4 people, so basically we're going to have 8 people go on our mission, so we need to find our 8 best people. Just to kind of boil it down, what I'm really going to be looking at is firing accuracy and bravery and time units. Just to start for an initial evaluation on these people that we have. So I'm going to get out a pen and paper, and I'm going to start writing down information. It would be pretty cool. I mean, what I can do is I could also put this stuff in Excel over there to the right, but I may fast forward this a bit, but basically you can rename people too. For those who are out there doing Let's Play, if you want, you can volunteer a name for people, and I can name a guy after you, and you can watch your guy's advancement throughout the game. I don't care if you want to leave a comment, say, you know, or leave me a message, say, hey, name one of these guys after, you know, after me or whatever. I can do that. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to put down their firing accuracy. So when I'm looking at it on the main screen, I can evaluate that time. But I think we're done for right now. I'm just going to stop the video for a second.